Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A first alert update to a story we've been following this week. A Brown County Court Commissioner sets a $20,000 cash bond for the man arrested in connection to that disturbance at a Brown County grocery store.
The reported Rylan Vasco was arrested at the Blackstone restaurant in Green Bay after authorities tracked him down there. The 26-year-old faces felony counts of making terrorist threats, threat to a law enforcement officer, criminal damage to property, carrying a concealed weapon, and disorderly conduct. Holly Brantley was in court today for Vasco's first court appearance. She's been reading through today's criminal complaint. She has more right now. Holly.
Rylan Vasco was visibly emotional when he appeared in court today. He made his first initial appearance via Zoom. Now, prosecutors say before police talked him down at the Blackstone family restaurant, he caused a disturbance at the Howard Meyer, yelling about being treated unfairly and showing a gun in his waistband to customers and employees. Once they convinced him to leave, investigators say Vasco reportedly told police on the phone he was thinking of coming back to the store and shooting everyone there. Crisis negotiators eventually tracked down Vasco at Blackstone. He came out around 3 a.m. and was arrested. In court today, Vasco was very emotional as the court discussed the charges.
Law enforcement received a 911 call that the defendant had been threatening to kill himself. Officers from several law enforcement agencies then got into a standoff with this defendant, who indicated he had been disrespected at Meyer grocery store tonight and that he was going to go back and shoot the employees who had wronged him.
I understand. I just was having a really bad episode.
Vasco is due back in court on June 23rd for a preliminary hearing. He is also ordered to have no contact with Meyer. At this point, he does not have an attorney. Live in Green Bay, Holly Brantley, Action 2 News.
Holly, thank you.